Well, thanks all for staying with us here on Sunrise Live on E this morning. Now, it's me, Marah, and autobiography gives us the front row seat into the discovery of the life of legendary musician as well as highly acclaimed entertainer Marah Louw. Now, this star bears her humanity and therefore her truth in her autobiography, and we've had really the honor of getting a little bit more insight into that truth this morning as he joins us in studio. Now, remember, be part of our conversation by simply leaving your comments on our Facebook as well as our Twitter pages. Memar.
Dumelang.
Likai.
Likai.
Oh, such an absolute honor to have you.
Hello.
And it's an honor and we're speaking about this off air, about how it's so sad, it will be disheartening for a generation to pass without even understanding the true essence of talent and the true essence of putting your work, your craft, whether it's me anchoring or whether it's somebody being a musician at work, and letting excellence show. It would be a travesty for a generation to go by and not know what it truly means.
Yeah, it would be. You know, it's so unfortunate that with the latest technology, you know, a lot of the younger generation in the industry, they think being a legend takes Twitter and Instagram,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You need to experience, you need to go through the drill, you need to pay your dues, you know, go through the ups and downs of the industry. And you need to get to a certain age as well before you can actually sit down and write your memoirs. Because at the age of 30-something, 40, really, what have you experienced?
Ooh. And it's a very interesting question when you say, what have you experienced? Because this book, I mean, when I was reading this book, there were parts, I was literally crying at some stage because when you detail your life, you bear your soul.
Yeah.
When people look at you from the outside, they see the star. I'm sure you've been called a diva. I'm sure you've been called a legend. But in honest, you bared your soul and your entire truth and even your vulnerability in this book. Why strategically do so?
Because it was about time. You know, I got to a point in my life where I've always wanted to write my story. But when you start seeing how some of the media people, not all of them, trying to paint this picture about you, and you think, you don't know me. I mean, how can you write this about me when you actually don't know me? And you find that it's mostly the young type of journalists that would go out and create this whole, hey, hana about Marah. And I'm like, bani wena, ungazelapi. You know, you don't know me. But it was important for me to write and tell my story, where I come from. Some people think Marah Louw became famous because of this particular certain show. And they think, oh, yeah.
You mean the singing show?
The
you
singing
made everybody
show.
a star.
Yes.
Yes.
And suddenly it's like, this is when Marah started. Hello. I started singing when I was 10 years old. Now I'm 65 years old. That's a lot of singing.
Yeah.
But I got into show business because I started singing in a church choir. Then I got into show business where I got paid to perform and to sing.
Don't just say I got into show business, because you
Yeah.
touch on simply, you know, on various aspects of the shows and the festivals and etc. and the theatrical performances that you have in the book. But you got to have even the closest relationship with our former late statesman, Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Tell us about that relationship.
Oh, that I will live with. It's one of those things that I will always cherish. Actually, I was pinching myself on the first day when I met Dada, up close and personal.
Yeah.
Very close. We were in Glasgow. In fact, I met him before that, but we didn't get a chance to spend time with him. After he came out, I was invited to go and perform at Wembley Stadium as one of the artists from around the world. It was myself on that stage. It was Kaifa Siminya with his big band. It was Letta Mbuli. It was, Nat King Cole's daughter, Natalie Cole. What's the other lady with the hair that goes like this? Anyway, it was artists from around the world. But just being on that stadium, 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium in 1990 when Tata came out, I'm like, I'm singing for Nelson Mandela at Wembley Stadium. Woo! And we came backstage to say hi. But then, 1993, I was invited by the anti-apartheid movement, Professor Dr. Wali Sirote, who was part of the anti-apartheid movement cultural desk of the ANC. They invited me to come and do a tour with Madiba when he was receiving the freedom of Britain. I'm like, oh, Okay, so does that mean I'm going to see Tata and be, oh, yes, you're going to be staying in the same hotel? Hallelujah. And I've got some lovely picture in the book where I'm sitting on Tata's
You were
lap.
sitting on the lap. I saw you were very
Yes,
comfortable
yes,
on that lap,
yes.
I
I
must
mean,
actually
with
say.
that, I got Tata, so there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
But it's so amazing how at one stage or one side of your life you are celebrated and you're admired by thousands and thousands. But also on the other side, as the book details, just before you actually give a documentation of Thapelo, which is a little bit earlier on, of your
Yeah.
relationship with Thapelo.
Yes.
You are celebrated artists on one side.
Yes.
At home, your personal life.
Yeah,
And this
it's in
pains me
turmoil.
to actually say, but you were involved with a man who abused you so much that
Yeah.
he even kicked you in the mouth
Yeah.
and removed your front teeth.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's
Come on.
crazy. You know, I've never spoken about the abuse I've been through for many years, and I've always been part of, you know, this when we're talking about violence against women, 16 days of violence against women and children.
Yeah.
But I've never talked about it because I thought, you know, that whole thing, it happens for those 16 days. And within those 16 days, there's still women being kicked in the teeth and beaten up like crazy. And I didn't want to be part of that gang that always is in the newspaper talking about what they've been through. I thought I'd like to detail what I've been through in details, you know, from the beginning to the end. And from the one of the things that I've been even asking myself in the book, and I have never been able to get an answer: why do we stay in abusive relationships? That for me is a question that no one is able to answer. You know, some women have got, you know, reasons for lifestyle,
Security.
children, you know. And for me, it was not even the case of lifestyle. I didn't have children with him. 11 years. He would just decide to ram my face against the window of a car just because some guy was smiling at me, you know. When we get home, it's like, yeah, washa, you know. But I'm thinking, why am I staying in this relationship? I was so madly in love with this man. It was crazy.
Were you
know?
madly in love with your husband? Because you say in the book, I married a white man. I woke up in the
Yeah.
I was in the bathroom one day and I realized,
Yeah.
shucks, I married a white man in apartheid South Africa.
Exactly.
You got a white man in apartheid South
Yeah,
Africa.
I mean, we got married as soon as they scrapped what they used to call the Immorality Act. You know, I don't know what was immoral about people falling in love and getting married, but that was the law in this country. And when they scrapped it in 1987, we got married. And that morning after the wedding, I was actually sitting in the bathroom and I'm looking at my fingers and I'm like, yo, whoo, what have I done? I've just married a white man. And then I left the bathroom, went into our bedroom, and I found him sleeping peacefully. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, hey, my daughter, I'm a real chancer. Then I was on a program with I think it was John Bex. John Bex did this whole show about mixed couples. And because I was news at that time as the first, I think we were the first mixed couple to get married immediately after they scrapped the Immorality Act. So John Bex says, Marah, you are married to a white man. And I says, whoa, hold it right there. When I woke up this morning, he looked pink. I don't know what you're talking about. Because when I look at me, I'm a dark brown black woman. So no, I'm not married to a white person. I'm married to a Scotsman.
Okay.
He's Scots. I'm an African.
I want us to get a little bit deeper now. In the book, you speak about your discovery and your search for truth.
Yeah.
And this discovery speaks about True Blue.
Yes.
The most beautiful name, True
Beautiful
Blue,
name.
who is your sister, according to what you've been told.
Yes.
But truth led to a certain revelation. Tell us about that.
That for me is it's still a subject that I'm struggling with because for the 40 years of my life, because I only found out the truth when I was 44. So that for me...
And that the truth is that your sister was actually
my
your mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she died a tragic death, you know, earlier on in 1970. 71. And for me, I didn't mourn for her as my mother. I mourned for her because I knew her as my sister. Her death was very tragic. Her husband burnt her with petrol.
Can we have some tissues, please? Thank you. It's okay.
For me, it's this tradition, our African tradition, that gets to me. I don't want to say I lived through a lie. No, I didn't live through a lie.
Yeah.
It's the way I see it is that the truth was withheld from me. I was not told.
You were
the
not
truth.
given the opportunity to mourn for your mother
I was
as
not-
you would have wanted to.
As I would have wanted to.
Yeah.
I was not given the opportunity to relate to her as my mother. I related to her as my sister. You know, all my life, I just knew her as Osma Basotho. Her other name, Kima Basotho. Niki Mutseba ile Osma Basotho. And even now that I've found out the real truth, I still cannot bring my mouth to call her Me Mabasut, Me True Blue. To me, she's still my sister. And my parents, whom I love, who brought me up, who I know now that they were my grandparents, I love them still as my parents. Nothing has changed except my wish that they could have at least set me down, especially on the night before the funeral.
I'm going to take some tissues for you. I'm going to give you a tissue.
You know, when
Thank you very
you know
much.
when you know we have this culture in our African culture where they bring the body to the house the night before the funeral. The body is brought into the house. I still believe our African culture, we need to rethink all of this. That's the moment. That's the time. If you've been living with this child and bringing them up as you know you're a grandparent, but you're saying you're the parent, it's time to say, listen, young Wanak, you see this person lying here? This is not your sister. This is your mother, or this is your father, whatever. But this keeping it, because I don't care where you go in the world, the truth will always come out. It could take centuries. We could hide it. We could try and pretend. I don't know what the reasons were for me not being told that this is not my sister, it's my mother. I don't know those facts. The people who should have told me the facts are all gone. There's one person who's still alive. And I dare him and I keep praying and hoping. That's my biological father, Smana Binga. I'm pleading with him. He must come forward and stop saying to me all the time, you know, circumstances. What were the circumstances? That I must find you at the age of 40.
It is a book that definitely everybody must have. It is a must-have for me. I've learned so much about not only fame, entertainment, but really life.
Yeah.
Just from taking nuggets from this book. We're going to leave it here because we can talk for hours hours and hours. Yes. But get yourself a copy of It's Me, Marah, an autobiography. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. Of course, we've got, I can safely call you, the legendary Marah Louw joining us in studio.